Hey everyone, uh, Danny Stein back here for another presentation. Today I will be talking about a recent California law that passed in the past few years, Assembly Bill 1775. Overall, this law allows licensed cannabis dispensaries to open cannabis cafes, where people can consume cannabis on site while enjoying food, non-alcoholic drinks, and enjoy live entertainment. In my presentation, I will be talking about both the pros and the cons of the policy and sharing my own thoughts, whether this is a good idea for communities or not. So first off, Bill 7 AB 1775 was introduced by Assemblymember Matt Haney, and officially went into effect in 2024. This bill lets cannabis dispensaries open cafes or lounges where people can legally consume cannabis in a social setting. These venues can also serve prepared food and non-alcoholic drinks, as well as offer live entertainment, like I said before. Think of it like a cannabis version of a wine bar or brewery. These cannabis cafes were actually inspired by Amsterdam's famous coffee shops, which have been blending cannabis and hospitality for decades. So why pass a bill like this? One goal is to normalize cannabis use in public settings, just like we do with alcohol. Another reason is to support local businesses by creating safe, community-based spaces for socializing and responsible cannabis use. It's also meant to give tourists and renters who don't have private places to consume a legal option. Overall, the law represents a big cultural shift, and it's treating cannabis more like alcohol and less like a taboo. Let's move into the positives. What do supporters of AB 1775 have to say about these new cannabis cafes? The biggest arguments focus on economic growth, safety, and public education. These lounges can boost local tax revenues, create jobs, and help reduce illegal or public consumption. They can also be a safe, social, and regulated environment where people are educated on how to use cannabis responsibly. First up, economic benefits. According to a report by the California Cannabis Industry Association, social use venues like cannabis cafes have the potential to bring in more tax revenue and open up new jobs in hospitality. Servers, security, cooks, musicians, you name it, they can all have more opportunity to get hired with these new cannabis cafes going into law. It is a good way to integrate cannabis into the local economy while offering unique social spaces that draw in both locals and tourists. Dr. Amanda Raymond, a policy researcher at Berkeley, says these spaces provide an important alternative to public or hotel consumption, especially for tourists who can't smoke in private rentals. Additionally, experts like Professor Bo Kilmer from RAND say on-site lounges can offer real-time education about safe and responsible use. Instead of people figuring things out alone, they're in a special designed place for education, community, and harm reduction. Of course, there's going to be risks with these lounges, and not everyone's going to be on board. There are many critics who are worried about health risks and the broader message this sends about cannabis use. Uh, could we be unintentionally encouraging daily consumption? Could youth see this normalization as permission? These are very valid concerns from a lot of people, and they're worth unpacking. So the first con I'll be talking about is public health and secondhand smoke. One of the strongest arguments against these cafes is secondhand smoke. Dr. Stanton Glantz from UC San Francisco warns that allowing indoor smoking, cannabis or not, could reverse years of public health progress. As well as this, a study in the Journal of American Medical Association found that secondhand cannabis smoke contains some of the same harmful toxins as tobacco. And in poorly ventilated spaces, that exposure could be dangerous, not just for customers, but workers too. Another big concern for some people is normalization. Dr. Deborah Hassan at Columbia University stated that making cannabis use more public and commercial could lead to higher rates of adolescent use and dependency. She also said if cannabis cafes become as common as bars or coffee shops, that it could send the wrong message to younger people. Critics say it might blur the line between casual use and chronic use, especially if the atmosphere is more about lifestyle than moderation. So, where do we stand now, and is there anywhere we could find a balance? To wrap things up, AB 1775 represents a major shift in how we treat cannabis use in public. Supporters see it as a chance to create a safer, smarter, and more socially accepted space for legal product. Opponents worry that it may damage public health and promote overuse. In my opinion, I think the potential, if that it's regulated correctly with smart ventilation standards and clear age limits, that cannabis use is already happening, and I don't think there would be any downsides of it. I think the question is, should we push it into the shadows or bring it into more thoughtful, community-oriented spaces? Thank you guys so much. Here are my references if you guys want to look further into my presentation, and thank you guys for